Well, it is said in many a times in scriptures that by simply taking shelter of the devotees of Krishna, all the problems of life can be solved. And we just had that proved in real life. As soon as we started hearing from Srila Prabhupada, Dinadayal Prabhu could magically, all systems came on board. So Dinadayal Prabhu, I'm so happy to see you. I must tell you, I've probably not drawn as much happiness in a spurt of few seconds like I'm doing so now by having your darshan. It's such a pleasure to see you. Please accept my humble obeisances. So dear devotees, Dinadayal Prabhu has spent a good 20 years of his life, probably more, in serving ISKCON education at a very, very core role. He has been involved from the early times of the Bhaktivedanta College, has played various roles. Today, we've invited him to speak to us. If you notice, since yesterday evening, we started building on the theme of the symposium, primarily talking about the Brahminical culture. Then we talked about the system of education in terms of Shastric education. We looked at communities, how to build education within communities, increasing the number of teachers through the teachers training online, the board of teachers. And we also talked about how to establish institutes, right? But just like life, institutes, organizations go through also a life cycle. And if somebody is fortunate enough to be through the life cycle of an institution, they get to learn a lot. And we have with us today Dinadayal Prabhu, who will share his experiences in the last 20 years in establishing a university, the challenges around it, from theology to business. So let's welcome Dinadayal Prabhu. I hand over the symposium to you. Prabhu, we have about 20 minutes left. But you can take those 20 minutes and I'll give another additional 5 minutes for question answers and we'll adjust the schedule as we move along. So the symposium is handed over to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Can you hear me properly?
We can do if you speak a little bit louder, your voice is soft.
Okay. Usually it's not soft, but as you said, we had some technical issues. So I was changing from the Chromebook, which was working perfectly well, towards laptop. Is it okay now?
We can work with this, Prabhu. Thank you.
Okay, I will speak loudly. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshtatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much, Tapan Mishra Prabhu. Hopefully this was not too stressful for you, but technical issues, part of the challenge, and today I'm scheduled to speak about the challenges. So quite appropriate, and if things are not working, especially in this tech department, it's a big blow to my false ego because I'm having a background in IT. So I always prefer to be on the side those who are on top of the game in terms of the utilization. So what I have for you, as Tapan Mishra Prabhu was saying, it's about the challenges in an own university education. And I prepared 9 slides for you. And if you don't mind, I would like to move it to there, not much, and it's all coming from Google Drive. So, dear Vaishnavas, here we are, 1 of 9, not too many, but quite, I guess, quite expressive. So, subtitle of my presentation is From Theology to Business, or From Theology and Business Education, Local Challenges and Global Responses. Indeed, I have already or almost 18 years of experience of being part of ISKCON education in Radhadesh and Bhaktivedanta College, and I will take you from our initial stage when we had only Bhaktivedanta College towards challenges we were going through, towards a school we created based on those challenges called Alfred Ford School of Management, and then back to Bhaktivedanta College. It's quite a journey, and of course, we can say university challenges at the university education what's there for us. But ultimately, not many ISKCON, there are not many ISKCON entities who are running accredited education, and we in Radesh were focused on that. And based on that, we had quite unique challenges. And I'm going to divide my presentation in three parts, which can be entitled dramatically. First is romantic period, 2002-2012, 10 years of romance, and I'm going to speak about that period and what was going on there, what kind of challenges we had, and not to keep you on a depressive level to speak only about the challenges. We are going to speak naturally about the responses, what we did and how we mingled through that difficult, but in the same time, I have to admit, joyful time. Whatever is done with Vaishnavas, that's my realization, and whatever is done for Krishna, for Srila Prabhupada mission, it's also joyful. No matter what kind of challenge is there, it's really pleasant. So that's something which we should keep in mind, like feeling for me. Then we, after 10 years of romance and romantic period, we enter into the Great Depression, and that's the education without accreditation. It's quite something, quite a challenging thing, but we went through that, and ultimately the last Antya Lila, which we are living now, is having Radhadesh campus with two schools. From almost no education, we have theology and we have the business. We have Bhaktivedanta College and we have Alfred Ford. So it's quite interesting how we went through, and please take it in a light what we heard yesterday from Mataji Urmila about philosophy education. Take this as a case studies. On our business school, we are teaching through the cases, and you can take those three slides which are coming as small three distinctive cases, and hopefully we can learn something from our experience, hopefully not to enter in the same mistake, or if you can call it mistake, but challenges, and do as much as possible in spreading the glories of Krishna through education. So, challenges. Ultimately, our challenges at Bhaktivedanta College, honestly speaking, started even before 2002. 1997, some of you will recall, Oxford Center for Hindu Studies was established. Shaunaka Rishi Prabhu and devotees there, and they said we have to do something on undergraduate level. Why do we need to do that? We have to be recognized as a serious movement to interact with others, and we would like to be on top of the presentations of Krishna consciousness, Gaudiya Vaishnavism, and generally Hinduism in the world and towards the world. So let us work on a direction to streamline, to create certain academics, powerful Vaishnavas who are able to do so. So that's the first challenge before. But when we launched, and I was still not there in 2002, I joined 2004. In 2002, already there were some initial critiques from ISKCON devotees. We are not about jnana. You are doing jnana, we are about the bhakti. Of course, I'm just telling you now to see what kind of context was there 19 years ago. So we had initial critiques. But creating the school, what's important, and you can take it from here, is it should be in a local language. We are in Wallonie, in province of Luxembourg, south of Belgium. We are starting British education. English language is not at all welcome in Belgium, neither is welcome in the French culture at all, neither they like it. So we were not able to establish and take advantage of connection with the governmental institutions, support on that level, because we don't teach neither French, neither Flemish, neither German, which is third official language. So that was our challenge, and it's still a challenge till the present day, but we were finding a way how to go around it. Then what we realized, running accredited bachelor is challenging, especially according to the British standard, which is high in demands. So we were seeing that we need much more resources, and we thought about finances, devotees, educated, we need a venue, better space, and so on. And that created certain challenge on staff retention. Number of devotees, which you can see on the picture is taken, I think, 2012, just before Krishna Kshetra Maharaj took sannyas. Number of devotees at the picture is not now full-time at Bhaktivedanta College, because lucky for them and for us, they moved and they are now established in different fields of activities. Some took sannyas as Krishna Kshetra. Rasa Mandala Prabhu is doing his doctorate in UK, and others. Ultimately, that was a challenge, how to keep devotees. And from that initial group, those two on the left side, Anupama, Devidas, and myself, we are still at the college. Another challenge we had for theology degree from Lampeter, University of Lampeter, was insufficient number of students and their education and pre-education to enter the bachelor. So that was something we were struggling with, because number of students were coming from different backgrounds. And then we realized, and I guess some of you are also realistic about that, ISKCON is still small society, but society with a big mission. It's small in terms of the number, and those who are going to study on a undergraduate level, they ask what I'm going to do with the bachelor in Vaishnava theology. That was always open question, and we were always looking to answer them what they can do. They can do whatever they want ultimately, because it equips you with so many things in terms of variety of individual qualities and performances. So that was the question. Devotees are always looking what I'm going to do. Better to do business, and you are guessing where I'm aiming to. And ultimately, what's another challenge is that in that romantic period, we were running the program and project whole operation based on donations. Donations are very welcome, but you have to find a way to make your project, your school sustainable. You cannot count on donations, because sooner or later you're going to hit the wall. And that happened, I guess you're now guessing, to us in 2012. But what were the answers on this romantic period? How did we, all those challenges addressing, did we manage to address them? Yes, we did. This that you can see there is, we were having first building and offices in 2007, 2010. That was the period. That was great. That was able to stabilize operation, and those places are still in utilization now. It's just across Radhadesh. So that's great. To address lack of students, we were looking towards introducing new and additional educational studies degree, bachelor, to kind of give a pathway for those students who are looking towards teaching in, for instance, at that time, Krishnavanti schools were starting. So that was the way how we were looking towards addressing the issue. And interesting enough, and I would never recommend this to anyone, to start something like a business which is out of educational ground. We were doing prasada distribution in Benelux, Germany, Switzerland, big festivals, but that's not our core activity. So you are starting something very new, and it was really a draining operation, but still we did it, so don't do it. But what we did as a great move in 2010, we started online education. And of course, running till now, and we were starting the second school based on the online basic education. So those were the things for the first 10 years of Romanticism. But then, as I said, we kicked the depression period. Why? We lost accreditation for our bachelor in theology. And I guess this picture you see, that's Manu, our graduate, and rather than Vasil, who yesterday got the son, Danny, his picture and his look really express what's going to happen now. 5 years of hard time, super hard time. We lost accreditation. We don't have any more bachelor. We cannot invite students. And at that time, we had already 30 students, which was good number, but university from Chester, they said they cannot have us, neither any university, any school which is having under 100 students. And for us, even if we will have completely free education, I seriously doubt we will be able to get 100 students in a school. So unfortunately, we lost accreditation. We had great quality, always excellent feedback, but we don't have enough numbers. And then, just when we were looking to get another partner for accreditation, what happened? You know, or this 5 years ago, Brexit happened and gone. We cannot do anything. And on top of everything, in those 5 years, we were looking to repay certain amount of money for the building and offices and the library. So it was very interesting period, but again, conclusion, no matter how difficult it is, Krishna helps. So we didn't give up, and somehow we managed to go through. So Krishna, thank you very much. What were our responses in that period? How we managed to move through that?
Сложностей. Итак, что мы из этого все вынесли?
Yes,
У нас был курс по киртону, учителей по йоге, семинар.
in hearing now Russian, is that necessary? Thank you. So, what were our responses in that period? We were trying to do as much as possible on-site health courses, yoga, teacher training course, art seminar, and so on. Then we were looking towards Bhaktivedanta College online courses, how to do it more and better. But was the key, which was our saving grace for the future, we were looking towards teaching conscious business to devotees and friends of Krishna. We got to know devotees are maybe not so keen to go towards theology, but everyone is speaking about the business, and devotees are very clear about that. And then we were thinking why, ultimately, conclusion is, including myself, not all are Brahmins. Not all of devotees are into the clear Shastic study. But we can offer something in the business field. We don't want to be one more business school. We can bring back the values in business, and that already exists. So we were speaking about the postgraduate education because, as I was saying second ago, undergraduate education requires so much energy. You have to teach students so much, and if you don't have additional help from the government, it's not possible. But the master level, you already get people who are educated, who are clear what they want to do in life. And then we were seriously considering and developing, even before 2012, we were starting to draft our business plan and making a program. That led us to the third phase. Third phase starting from 2017. And in that year, we launched our Alfred Ford School of Management, which was response for many years of our mingling around how to move ahead. And those wonderful Vaishnavas you see, all of them are represented here with the legal names. And that's one of the things you can guess immediately. We are having business school run from Radhadesh, but in the same time, we are not having devotional framework. We are not using devotional language, and we are not using spiritual names. Why? Because, as I said, ISKCON is very small. Numbers of devotees, but great mission, are very small. So let us address those who are friends of Krishna, who are sharing the same value, and let us look how can we give them certain direction towards Krishna consciousness, and how can we nourish them even in a business education. So our challenge was how to run two schools from the same place. It started. We have same group of devotees, 6, 7, 8 devotees, plus teachers on one side, another side. We have to do separate brandings, marketing. That's quite amazing operation. Then, just to bring you some insight in challenge. Insight in challenge is that we have 1 week residency for MBA. And then non-devotees are coming to Radhadesh. I remember, like yesterday, I was sitting on the terrace of Govinda's, and one Japanese, Mr. Ken, came, and Harinam was going on in Radhadesh. And he was looking completely where I landed. What's this? We were able to kind of help him to go through. But see the challenges of purely devotional environment for business education. But ultimately, the challenge was how to run and how to present Krishna consciousness in business education. We don't want to have one more business school. That was not the idea. We want to be unique and distinctive, and we want to give and offer to 1,200 business schools in the world something unique. So what's that? What can we offer? What's that challenge, and how do we address it? Ultimately, already in 2012, it was very clear. Business world is looking towards not only for money enterprise. And there are already a number of models which are existing in a business world, and people are speaking in the business world. It's not all about the money. Karma capitalism exists. People are speaking. They are very aware what's going on. What's going to happen if you do something which is unethical? Truly human leadership. Mr. Bob Chapman and what's this gentleman, Sinek, they are running and they are behind that. People are in the center. Those people are vegetarian. They understand that business is much more than money. So certain values they have, which are very friendly to us. More than money concept, even few books are on that level. Values in life. Why do you do your business? They try to integrate business, life values, and run it together. It's not separating. Mr. Albion, professor. Purpose before profit. That's another concept which is very clearly visible and notable in the business world. So all those concepts are very connected with us. And we, as a devotees, we can give something more. 3P, people can be noted. But then we, meaning Arthur Ford, said we are going to teach conscious leadership, which is for devotees, Krishna consciousness in the business world, back to values. But for those who are non-devotees, who are coming as outsiders, coming from the Muslim background, Christian background, we have students like that, then they learn about the conscious leadership. And they agree. Life is not only about the money, there is purpose behind, there is a meaning. It's tough, but we want to help at least to diminish that suffering. So from that level, we were able to address the big challenge of Alfred Ford, how to teach something which is unique. And that pretty much brings us to the first slide and the last slide, that we were going from the initial Bhakti school towards business school, and we are coming back. Business school is there to support Bhakti, to give money, resources, and Bhakti is again their core of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, which is also giving certain input into the Alfred Ford School of Management. And just want to again to say and underline, no matter what kind of challenges are there, devotees, those who are on the battlefield of service, they are most important, and I'm very much indebted to all of those Vaishnavas seeing on the left and also on the right photo, no matter what they have as a dress, because little by little we move that forward, and we are offering certain value to the community of devotees and also non-devotees. So that's the unique, and that's a very privileged position number of us are having, being at Bhaktivedanta College and Alfred Ford. And of course, I'm sure that's the same for your projects. So that's pretty much from me. And if you have any question, comments, I'm more than happy to try to answer. Jai Srila Prabhupada and Guru Parampara.
Thank you, Dinadayal Prabhu. Many lessons for all of us to draw from what you shared. We are seeing more and more that in the world of ISKCON especially, we have to create projects in such a way that they can be synergistic. In order to support the mission, some other activities have to be done alongside. This morning we had another speaker who's running a Chatushpati, which is a very Brahminical school giving completely free education. And in his example, he is Shastric education he is giving free, but then he also conducts language courses for which devotees offer donations. So he uses the same infrastructure for two things. And obviously, in your assessment, you have found a model that may sustain. So two schools from the same location, but one purpose, which is to expand bhakti around the world. Very grateful, Prabhu. We do not have questions. There is a one devotee. So we would like you to please post your question. If you like to ask the question directly, please do so briefly and quickly. I'm making you unmute to ask your question directly.
I can give one remark, Tapamisha Prabhu, which can be insightful. What you said, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Interesting enough, we were able to, and that's great, we are able now to attract people who are non-devotees to give certain money for education and appreciate that. So that's very, and even as I mentioned briefly, coming from different religious background, and that's great. If someone coming from Muslim background appreciates Bhakti school run under name Alfred Ford, and they know who Alfred Ford is. So that's very good at how we can kind of move ourselves in a society and touch people. So that's, I would say, for me, great achievement.
Absolutely, I think so. And we have to do everything that we can. We have to utilize our names, our skills, our resources, our contacts, everything to progress this mission and the movement. If that means we have to flash our credentials, sometimes that's needed. What's wrong with that? I mean, Srila Prabhupada approved of that and he wanted us to utilize it, as long as the goal and the methods that we use are with full integrity. Dinadayal Prabhu, thank you so much.